On January 19th, the Grunwald Gallery of Art, in association with Radical Jewelry Makeover, put on a brand new exhibit. The project, started by ethical blacksmiths in 2007, aims to address the problem of wrongfully sourced jewelry pulled out of the ground mainly in poorer countries. The project takes donated pieces of old jewelry and transforms them into brand new ones.
It's a way to create a new supply chain that diverts things from going into the garbage or the dumpster, landfill, and can help prevent the increase of mining of precious metals and stones from the earth.
The Radical Jewelry Makeover exhibit will run until March 2nd and is free to the public at the Grunwald Gallery of Art. That's the look of things from here. Now, back to you at the desk. With diversity and inclusion becoming more and more prevalent on IU's campus and beyond, the School of Education hosted their monthly discussion. This month, the focus was on critical race theory and racial problems within the systems governing the school. Dr. Charlotte Davis, a first-year professor at the school, held the discussion. She discussed how despite the fact that there is diversity in terms of numbers at IU, minority students have still felt a lack of inclusion and validation due in large part to the system governing the school and its many departments.
We're really great as an institution at looking at theories, right, and really delving in and understanding what they look like. And then the purpose of this conversation is to look at, well, where are we actually seeing changes? What are we actually doing? And so I think that having awareness of that is really great to be able to do that.
The School of Education will continue to host its monthly discussions centered around race, diversity, and inclusion at IU and within its many departments. That's all from the School of Education. Now back to you at the desk.
Stand up. When Palestine is under attack, what do we do?
On IU's campus, the pro-Israel and pro-Palestine ideologies are creating a rift, and the media is caught in the middle.
It's been really difficult. It's definitely the hardest thing I've encountered.
For Salome Cloteau, the editor-in-chief of the IDS, it is like fighting a losing battle, and they are under siege. More and more pro-Palestinian demonstrations have led to more media coverage of their cause. Therefore, two groups with radically different political stances now also have different opinions on the media. Starting last Monday, the Palestinian Solidarity Committee started holding weekly sit-ins at the Starbucks at the IMU. It was just another example of the PSC's continuous efforts to get their message on campus. A member of the PSC who wishes to remain anonymous explained that the media attention helps.
So it's definitely great to see more media covering our protests and hearing directly from our organizers.
However, on the other side of the political spectrum, the pro-Israel community has taken the stance that the student media is knowingly avoiding discussing their side.
Again, I think it's anti-Semitism. I think they talk about that their voices are silenced. It's our voices who are being silenced. It's the voices of the Jewish community and the supporters of the Jewish community's voices who are in reality being silenced.
Back at the IDS, the paper has been swamped with requests for op-eds and general displeasure with the way that the coverage has been conducted.
I'd say 97% of the emails that I got were angry emails. But I understand that just happens. Angry people write more than happy people.
It's no secret that protests attract coverage. The question on campus is whether the loudest voices tip the scales when it comes to media coverage. Images like that are typically what people think of when the term spring break comes up. However, among all the promotion of partying hard, the IU Culture of Care organization held their yearly Spring Break Fest in Dunn Meadow. The event aimed to address the problem of dangerous behaviors that take place when college students go on spring break.
It's so important. I think that everyone needs to know that you have that space and you have that freedom to be in college and to have fun, but there are different things that you can do to keep yourself safe and to keep the people around you safe.
The event had several different tables and activities that promoted the education of common spring break dangers, including heavy drug use and sexual assault. One of the factors that the culture of care wants to stress is the importance of understanding that impairment of any kind can affect someone's ability to get behind the wheel of a motor vehicle. To do this, they've set up an obstacle course to simulate what it's like to be impaired. So we'll see how this goes. Despite understanding the major risks associated with impairment, the organization prefers education rather than determine.
You know, we like to educate instead of like saying, okay, you should abstain from doing this, that you should be able to be like, hey, like I know how to do this safely. So it's just a good way to know that, okay, when I do party, these are the tips that I have on how to be safe.
The organization has more information about healthy substance use at care.indiana.edu. For IU Newsnet, I'm Zeke Shapiro. Campus tension surrounding the Israel-Palestine conflict is escalating. A records request by the Indiana Daily Student reveals correspondence about it between IU President Pamela Whitten and state leaders. In November, State Representative Jim Banks sent a letter to President Whitten warning that a lack of response to reports of anti-Semitism on campus could cost the university federal funding. Whitten wrote back to Banks outlining the university's actions, including meetings with the Anti-Semitism Advisory Board, an increase in police presence, and the number of reports of anti-Semitism in the month prior. Shortly after responding to Banks' letter, the university suspended the faculty advisor for a pro-Palestinian student group and canceled a campus exhibit by a Palestinian artist. Some university faculty say these acts are a threat to free speech on campus.
The pressure is real. I also think that self-respecting university administrators who are serious about being the leaders of academic institutions of higher education will resist these pressures. And unfortunately, the people who lead this university haven't demonstrated themselves to be that kind of leaders.
To see the letters and more reporting on the exchange between Whitten and Banks, you can visit idsnews.com.